COVID, we're not out of it yet. Today we have a conversation with Anthony Cooper, owner of Anytime Fitness in Singapore, co-founder of Avalanche Studios, and an investment banker, on his views of this area. Anthony, thank you so much for your time today, being interviewed with us on National Sales Institute. COVID has...
Thanks for having me, Lou.
Oh, our pleasure. Now, COVID has obviously presented some challenges in the last 12 to 18 months, or actually 12 months. What is your perception first, before we get into COVID, of the sales function?
My perception of my perception of sales at the moment is that it's super important. And without sales, it's very hard to get existing businesses off the ground, or existing businesses, pushing forward with their kind of business development requirements, as well as startup businesses or any businesses for that fact. So if you look at a company like Google, who's looking to get into the Amazon, well, not looking, they are in the Amazon Web Services, environment and business, but they don't have the dominance that AWS have, because even though they're a huge company, Google, they don't have the existing presence that Amazon have. So they're trying to penetrate that. So without decent or very good staff or salespeople to penetrate that existing marketplace, they won't be able to get into that business do as well as they could do if they didn't have any sales guys or business development people.
Now, with COVID and how COVID's obviously changed the world, just before we ask about the effects of COVID in the sales function, how do you think COVID has changed the landscape of business?
How has COVID changed the landscape of business? I would say that it's accelerated what has happened in the last year is probably somewhere in the vicinity of 5+ years of technical or change that would have happened to businesses anyway. So that 5 or 6 year period that we would have seen these changes come eventually, or that would have been at a much slower pace. It's basically condensed that change. So, for example, your QR codes are used for restaurant menus now, for checking into places, whereas QR codes weren't really used before. If you look at businesses like Deliveroo, Food Panda in Singapore, or Menulog here in Australia, these food delivery services are now much more widely used because of the need. So I think that businesses that were necessary for survival, for our survival, to be able to get food, to be able to do work online like Zoom or DocuSign, or these things that are necessary when working from home. I think it's just catapulted the whole development of online businesses much faster than we would have seen.
So then, Anthony, what do you think then businesses has learned from COVID in relation to selling, in relation to better servicing their customers? Are there any tips, or what's your opinion from what you've seen both locally and internationally?
I think adapt to survive. You have to be able to embrace, as a company, as someone working for a company, you have to be able to adapt to change.
You're the owner of Anytime Fitness in Singapore. How have you adapted on that sort of, small to medium enterprise scale in face of COVID? What have you done? What techniques have you employed in your business? Because obviously the fitness world requires people to physically stay fit and attend your gyms.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult. I mean, to be honest, in the 3 months that the government shut us down completely, we couldn't do much. So you essentially have to, when your business is completely shut down, you still have members. And even though we weren't charging our members, we thought we still need to be connected with them. So we tried to do online classes, Zoom classes, which people were a bit wary of at first because they weren't used to it. But you've kind of seen, even though that was the first 3 months was difficult to engage some members. There were members that were keen to stay connected with us. And what we've seen as a result of that is that the online training has actually become now widely accepted. So if you can't make it to the gym, and when you want to do a session, then you can still book your session with a personal trainer, and they can do it via a FaceTime call or a Zoom call or a WhatsApp video call, whatever you've got. So we've still been able to engage in it from that perspective. So it's more time convenient or more convenient for people to still reach us and engage us than not engage us at all.
Anthony, you're obviously a co-founder of Avalanche Studios, and you've gone from strength to strength there. I'm going to ask you just a concluding question there with your Avalanche Studio co-founder hat on. What do you see is the future of sales? How do you see it become?
The future of sales, I think, becomes it's already an important part of. I think everyone within a business has to be able to have some ability to be able to sell the company. Obviously, you have specialist positions which are designed just to sell the company or specific services of the company, and those people are important for the growth. For the growth of the company, and also to ensure that it sustains profitability and it sustains its current client base. So sales is super important. It's about relationships, and I think that's something that, no matter how much automation we see go on as a result of COVID, as a result of the future of business, I think sales will always be one of those roles that you can never fully replace, because you can't beat the human to human contact and the relationships that people have with each other and the trust that they get from it. So I think the future of it is probably going to be more technical in nature as the world becomes more more technical, and the way business is done becomes more more technology focused. And I think on the back of that, you're on the back of being able to do things technically and the relationships, there's going to be probably a need to have some professional recognition on the back of that.
Anthony, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us and your broad spectrum of knowledge, both locally and internationally. It's really helped us, and probably our members as well, get a little bit more of an insight from an investment banker's point of view, as well as a business owner's point of view. So thank you so much for your time.
Anytime, dude. Anytime.